Well, thank you very much for coming to the session. Hopefully you enjoyed that last session. I think it's interesting to see the big providers and how they're going to transform the world. Now we're going to move on to a story and I guess speaking to two leaders in the space around how a very large corporate is transforming and using AI to look at their supply chain. So I'm honored to have with me both Athina Kanioura, Chief Strategy Officer and Chief Strategy and Transformation Officer of PepsiCo, and also Marcelo Stefani, Chief Procurement Officer. So we're going to be talking about AI, we're going to be talking about supply chain, resilience and innovation, all my favorite topics. And maybe we can start off with you, Athina. As you look at the whole business, you're not just looking at procurement and supply chain. We have this huge transformation on the digital side and AI, and the technology is just growing at such a pace. I saw Sam Altman from OpenAI the other day saying ChatGPT or GPT-4 is somewhat stupid, only 6-7 months after it came out. How do you deal with the pace of change that's coming in around technology and AI as you look across the whole business?
Awesome. Thank you, Mark, and thank you for hosting us, Marcelo and I. So maybe a couple of facts for PepsiCo in case some of maybe of our European friends don't know. We closed last year in 2023 with a 93 billion in terms of net revenue, so that shows you a bit the size of the organization. We have 8 1 billion brands in the portfolio, and then another 4 that will be close to 1 billion, spanning from water and sodas to chips, crisps, whatever you call them here, right? Like Lay's and Doritos and Cheetos, Quaker, which is our breakfast occasions. So we have a very broad foods and beverages portfolio, which is quite important if you were to think the complexity of the business. On top of that, we operate in 200 markets. We have the largest private fleet in the world after UPS, and we have 320,000 employees in the organization. So that shows you the complexity of the transformation. That's why I wanted to give the facts, because as a company, we started approximately 5 years ago on a massive transformation of the value chain, everything from source, make, move, sell, and consumer engagement, what we call from source to table, with one clear mission to make this company much more modern, intelligent, and now we call it AI first, back then digital first mindset. And what we have seen is that this transformation anchors around a couple of themes. One is the transformation of the systems, where AI plays a critical role, and the data integration plays a critical role, and having one single foundation of the company plays a very important role. The transformation of the processes in the company, where especially for the procurement professionals here, you understand we cannot transform just with AI if you don't transform a process like P2P, right? And then is the transformation of our people, which is a big cultural change for the organization, a big change management effort, so which was the hardest part in the whole journey. So if you were to think holistically, kind of the technology transformation, the process transformation, and the people transformation, I would say the introduction of GenAI, especially in the mix, for the scale of company has helped us accelerate that journey. We went through probably the most aggressive transformation comparing to other companies of our industry. And our intent, and has been for the past year, is to totally embrace GenAI in 2 main areas. One is how we transform much faster our processes by using GenAI. And second, what are those big enterprise AI use cases that we can drive both growth and productivity, not just productivity.
And on a personal level, are you using GenAI to look at strategy as well? Is it coming into your day-to-day?
Well, it's, I didn't say, because my role is everything from strategy, business transformation, and digital AI and technology. We are actually using AI for summarization of our presentation. So, when I talk to our CEO and we want to kind of summarize our strategies, my strategists are using GenAI, which is good, because they are being much more productive.
Well, it's good to lead from the top. I guess everyone else can do that on the change management side as well. And Marcelo, so you're looking at the transformation of the supply chain, looking at analytics, AI, bringing more resilience to the organization and the procurement process. Maybe you can get a little bit of insight of how this transformation is coming into your function and the supply chain.
Sure, thank you, Mark. Look, I would like to answer these questions in three different big buckets. So one, for me, is the strategy and the vision of the function. The other one is the tools and the enablers that you need to deliver that strategy and vision. And the third one is the mindset that you need to deliver these results. So starting for the strategy and the vision, I think, as a procurement function, we need to add value. We need to, be the champions of value creations. And I think what is going to change during the years is the how you are going to bring in this value. So it's not anymore the productivity, but in that vision and in that strategy, you need to put innovation, how you are going to bring value with innovation, with sustainability. 93% of our carbon footprint is coming from the scope 3 in our company. So we need to be hands on hands with that. So we need to be resilient with the pandemic and everything. So this is, first you create the vision, the strategy, and then you said, okay, these are the goals that I am having, and this is what I want to deliver. Now, for what I want to deliver, or for what we want to deliver as a function is, what do you need? You will need artificial intelligence and digitalization, and this is a big enabler to really be more agile. And you need talent as well, talent that will be able to manage that new technology that is coming. So in PepsiCo, we have great help thanks to Athina. We have, it's here, Pep Lab is here, so I think they were helping us a lot because we have today like 1,000 of startups, right? So, and 6 billion of money that is out there. And every day a new startup is coming up. So we have this department, Pep Lab, that reports to Athina's department, but is helping functions like procurement. So what they do is, as soon as we have a clarity in the vision and in the mission we have, is how they will start helping us rather than procurement going to see what is out there. They are specialized. One of the main tasks they have is help with the narrowing the supplies and to make sure that whatever they will bring us will match and will be a good potential partners. And this is what we do. So, and also we have today, that was completely different to maybe the structure of procurement 3 years back, we have sitting as well a very senior executive sitting in my leadership team, reporting to Athina's organization, that is also the head of digitalization for procurement, reporting, again, I'm being part of the leadership team, making sure that whatever we decide is land flawless in the sector with harmonized, with the scale we need, and I think these are the things we are using. So, and of course, and I will relate this last part to the mindset change. So, and I love someone said that you want artificial intelligence, and I think this was last week when we went to Stanford. But somebody says, I need artificial intelligence to do the laundry for me. I don't want artificial intelligence for me to have more time to do the laundry myself. So, and this is a bit of the change in the mindset. We need to make sure that all the routinary things that we are having, being R2P or being data, is now being done for artificial intelligence as we are doing now in PepsiCo. And then we reallocate the people to do stuff that are much more added value than the routinary stuff. So, we want the artificial intelligence do the laundry for us. And I think that was one of the priorities we were having. So, and the mindset is, I think Athina is always saying, listen, let's have a pilot, and we need to trail and maybe fail, but we are doing a lot of that because, again, with all the diversity and with all the universe of startups that we are having, you need to pilot, and then you need to see, are they the good ones? And then also that helps people to start feeling comfortable and embracing the new tools that you may have.
I think that part around being willing to fail allows you to innovate, and you have to embrace the failures as well as the wins in there as well. You touched on the point around the laundry, and if we can get AI to do laundry in my household, that'd be more than happy. My two daughters aren't.
We all want to do that.
So, that's the big bet we're going for. Athina, maybe we talked about the laundry, but there's also some other strategic parts of how AI can help the business around sustainability and innovation. Maybe you could kind of touch on a few points of how you're looking at those topics as well.
And I will link it back to PepsiCo strategy. Our strategy anchors around, we need to be a better company for the planet, for the people and our associates. And sustainability touches both the people and the planet and the associates, right? So we have made, I would say, very aggressive commitments as an organization about both our carbon footprint, but also Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3 emissions, and what does it mean. If you were to think in the context of all the procurement professionals here, I think on Scope 1 and Scope 2, because it's something that all the corporations manage that internally, I think everyone feels very comfortable, right? I mean, we publish those results at an ongoing basis. Scope 3 is when it takes a village. It's not just us. So what we have been trying to do and what we have been already doing, and Marcelo can provide some additional examples, is one is we are building a supplier collaboration platform, right? So we want to bring PepsiCo and every supplier in the ecosystem, everything from, our farmers to the big commodity providers to technology providers in one single platform with the APIs connected, so we will be able to trace emissions across the ecosystem and then kind of minimize that. With some of our suppliers or partners, we have made public commitments, like Walmart and PepsiCo, what we have done together, with Cargill, what we have done together. So with the biggest, it's easier. With the smaller, is when you need to provide the platform, so we are providing that platform, so that's one. Second, we have been working on creating visibility and traceability across the board. So if you were to look at our products, I mean, in many markets, and we are rolling that out globally, there is a QR code you can trace back to the source, right? So the end consumer knows exactly the footprint of the product down to the lowest level of attribution. So that is the second one. And the third one that Marcelo kind of alluded to that is the innovation component. So when we are doing innovation, you have two types of innovation. You have what we call reformulation of the products. You take a product, you add a flavor, right? Okay, that's reformulation. And then you have breakthrough innovation. This is where technology and GenAI can help accelerate breakthrough innovation. Breakthrough innovation, by de facto, in a manufacturing company can take up to 6-8 months, a year sometimes. We want to cut down the cycles to 6 weeks. So this is where we aggressively are working with our R&D and procurement organizations to cut out the breakthrough innovation cycles to the minimum requirement, time requirements, while kind of keeping the quality of the product extremely high, because our consumers want speed to market, right? So these are some of the things, and I'm sure Marcelo can provide some additional flavor.
Definitely seems like you're 10xing the whole speed and the innovation side coming through. Maybe, Marcelo, you can build on that in terms of this broader value proposition around the sustainability and innovation side and how you're looking at the operating model of procurement.
Yeah, as I said, now, I mean, in any strategy of the procurement function has to have sustainability and innovation, right? Because we are playing a very important role there. So I would say in PepsiCo, just last week, we had a great opportunity to have some surprise presenting to PepsiCo some new breakthrough innovations that they may have. So what we did is, this was together with the R&D chief for the company, but we started with 180 suppliers having a different kind of relationship with them. And we said, listen, these are the priorities that PepsiCo would need in the near future. How we can co-create together, what do you think, how we can advise together, how we can win together. And at the end of the day, 8 of the suppliers came and presented to the PEC, where was a really great commitment from the company, from the top. And was a great idea of collaboration. The only mindset and the only change is you need to come with an angle that has to be a win-win for your company and for the suppliers. And I think we are going to implement at least 6 or 7 of the 8 that were presenting to us. So that was great opportunity for us. And then in sustainability, the same. So sometimes I am laughing because I like this a lot, but some suppliers are saying, well, we didn't know if she or he came from the Chief Sustainability Officer or from the Procurement office. And I love that because we are working so integrated, hand in hand with our colleagues in sustainability, that suppliers don't know who is who, we are working together in the collaboration. Now suppliers, when you analyze suppliers, it's not anymore quality and cost, but it's also which is the environmental impact they might have to the company. And then if we still need each other to win, how we can collaborate and do stuff together. And what Athina said with that construction of this platform where we are communicating, that the artificial intelligence will help, and it's already proven that it's helping in scale this in a humongous way and speed as well. Because if not, it was all manual stuff. And as you know, specifically in sustainability, there is a lot of governmental requests that we need to do and collect information. So I think artificial intelligence is key to be agile and to get the speed.
It's great to see or hear about the silos being broken down. I can see it from the transformation on the technology side, but also with R&D and procurement. I think that's one of the challenges of companies as they look at supplier collaboration and innovation is too many silos actually breaking down the flow. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Marcelo. I'm going to ask you to get your crystal ball out and tell the audience and myself, where do you see procurement in the next 5, 10, 15 years? It's moving quickly in terms of technology, but you're also a company who's moving 10x. So where do you see the future?
Look, if I am telling you how will be the procurement of the 20 years from now, we'll be lying. So I am sure if you ask the same question to the procurement leader 20 years ago, he or she will not describe what we have today. But I can tell you, at least for me, what I am thinking will remain and will keep improving, and the things that maybe we will not have as today. So I think the main driver of procurement, of create value, I don't think that's going to go away. And I think the how will change, though, with different things, but the goal of creating value for the company, for the function, is not going to change. As I said before, it's not anymore in productivity. So if you look like 10 years ago, the only one knows procurement at the C-level was the CFO. Now we have a seat in the table. We are talking with the S&T leader. We are talking with the R&D leader. We are talking with the CMO. We have connections with finance. So in PepsiCo, we manage 40 billion of the 92 billion. So, I mean, we really have a seat in the table, and I don't think this in the procurement functions will not change in the future. On the contrary, I hope that we could keep, proving that we are a business partner that is delivering a lot of value for the company. I think as well that the skills of people will eventually change. I never thought that we would have a vice president in the leadership team doing digitalization in procurement. We never thought in having an Athina created a department which is Pep Lab that is helping finance, marketing, and procurement in understanding what is the universe of potential stuff. So I think these things will keep coming. And for me, the more important thing is to get always with that mentality of curiosity, being in the top of the wave, if you wish, And I think, again, talent will help a lot to do that. I would say that, and again, I am so bad with names. By the way, another important thing that changed procurement was the pandemic, right? Now we are, I think procurements, now we have a much more thicker skin than we ever had, right? To see the capacity. So we are now having a lot of more experience that we didn't have in the past. And I think more and more companies are seeing procurement as a really business partner. So, and I am really bad with names, and I don't want to, I apologize, I don't remember who said that, but I like it a lot because he says that, artificial intelligence will not kill or take out managers at all. However, the managers that will use and will know how to use and get the benefit of the artificial intelligence will replace the one that they will not. And I think that is a very important thing for the future as well. I think people need to start embracing it because it's there, and we need to keep going with this. So.
I think you're right. It's the augmentation of people's roles, and there is a mindset where people need to embrace. But also brings me on to my final question, which I think you've just come from an AI conference, Athina.
Yes, World AI Summit. I was presenting there. Yes.
Second best event in Amsterdam this week. One of the questions I have myself, and I've spoken to a few people, is the ethical side. Maybe you can talk about how you look at the ethical side of AI in your organization as well.
Yeah, and it's a very valid question, taking into account the impact of AI, especially on, say, people's jobs, and what that would mean in the future. So firstly, as a company, we have a responsible AI framework. We haven't just defined that. This is highly operational in the organization. So in everything we do in the value chain of AI, and not just GenAI, but also what we call traditional AI, make sure that follows that framework and that process. This starts from data transparency, bias mitigation, ethical AI considerations before we operationalize the models, which is quite important if you were to think of how you look at AI end-to-end. When it comes specifically to the ethical aspects of AI, there are, first of all, two specific domains that we don't use AI because it's not yet mature. One is for identification of candidates in the HR process, because all the algorithms, including any GenAI algorithms, are highly biased towards a specific segment of the population, which is white males, just to be very transparent, which is that population. Right? And in the technology space, it's white males and Indian males, by the way, which is the other segment. So we want to ensure that when we do, especially in the hire to onboard process, the first step, there is always an HR business partner and talent management lead managing that process. So that is one use case. And the second element is in the promotional also process of the hire to retire. So anything that has to do with the employee experience, there are two areas where AI has shown historically and is still showing a high level of bias. Right? So there's a big ethical component. Many, I would say, governments and states, at least in the US, they have banned the use, and there are fines across with that. The second element is anything that impacts consumers, especially the data privacy element. So we make sure that whether you are getting a message from us, personalization at scale, or whether you are engaging with us, we always have traceability across the value chain, so we can ensure that the message is not biased based on who we believe you are. Right? So to summarize, the responsible AI framework we have operationalized, and by the way, is being used currently by NIST, which is the National Institute of Science and Technology in the US. We are the only industry player who, with the tech companies, have influenced that framework, allows us to do GenAI at scale. So we are very proud of how the teams have embraced the framework across the board and how governments, and I would predominantly say the US government, is taking our framework as a best industry standard on how other companies can move the same way.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much for your time. It's been amazing. A few key takeaways for me is automating that laundry first, at home and in the office. But looking at automating those transactional parts so we can uplift our teams to drive the innovation and value, but also some bold decisions you're making around, building that supplier collaboration side, knowing the importance of suppliers in there and the data around the sustainability piece. So sometimes you have to make those bold moves of building the technology and the data sets that you need. And I think it's going to be constantly changing. I think this is a part in terms of the speed and the willingness to innovate, and that means to fail. And sometimes you talk about the middle managers, we like ticking green boxes and everything's good. Sometimes it's going to be ambers and sometimes reds, and I think we have to get used to a little bit of failure as we 10x and innovate more. I'm sure the crowd would love to say thank you. Athina, Marcelo, thank you very much, and hopefully you'll come back again.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate it.